Hello, everyone. Welcome to this three-part masterclass on marketing, sales, and storytelling. We're just going to start right off with Ruben Dua for the first part. Ruben, take it away.
Thanks, Shannon. So this is my opportunity to provide, I think, what a lot of people need to hear about, which is really, I think, one of the biggest driving factors behind Dub's growth story. And a lot of people have asked us, what is our marketing strategy? What is our go-to marketing strategy? How do we process the content marketing, and how do we drive sales, and how do we deliver demos, and what are some of the paradigm shifts that we've experienced as a company? And I decided to kind of put together a masterclass and teach folks everything that we've done, at least on a high level, to achieve some of the growth that we have achieved over the last couple of years now as a company. So the first thing that I'll start with is that everything is a content opportunity. A lot of people think that there are these worlds that we have to live in where some things should happen behind closed doors, and to a certain extent there are, I think, private conversations that businesses have to have. But by large, I would say 80 to 90% of the efforts that we do as a company, as a team, as an organization, those can be converted into a content opportunity. So there's kind of three general pieces of content that all of us can start to convert immediately in the efforts that we're doing, right? So the first thing is calls. We all have business calls. Let's jump on a call. Let's have a discovery session. Let's get into a Zoom. Let's meet on Skype, give me a phone call. There's so many different places where we can have that live, synchronous, back and forth conversation. Those are great to get to know each other, to build rapport, to build some trust, to understand what each other's value propositions are. People that are in sales, they would love to have those conversations, right? They would love to have them. A lot of the times, people who are busy, people who are decision makers, they don't necessarily want to have those conversations for two reasons. Firstly, because probably they're busy, but secondly, because they know that the person on the other hand might be trying to sell them something, right? And if someone is trying to sell them something, then it's effectively going to take time out of their busy schedule. So how do you solve this problem? How, from the person initiating the conversation, how do they solve that problem of getting someone's attention? And then on the flip side, how can someone manage their time better? So the way that we have been able to do this, and this took us about a year to do it, is that we have effectively pivoted, we've converted 90% of the conversations that we have into live recorded either podcast sessions or what we call jam sessions. And the reason why this has fundamentally changed the game for us is because in our olden days, when we would try to get someone's attention, if we would try to get someone to meet us, if we wanted to demo our technology, if we wanted to share some of the things that we've learned, even if we wanted to be, completely value focused, sometimes it would be very challenging to get people to meet with us, right? And the reason why, of course, is because, well, people are selling and people are buying, or in some cases ignoring. So that's why we decided to start, our effort to kind of pivot all of our things. Now, I will say this, that in our effort to do this, our intention was not greed or selfishness. That's not where it came from. Where it came from is a legitimate place of wanting to have real, authentic conversations with people, to listen, to learn, and to share insight from the people that we're speaking to with our growing audience. This is one of the benefits of a situation like this, where if you're having a conversation and it's recorded, or maybe it's live with someone and you're learning as a student from them, the ability to kind of share that content becomes infinitely powerful. Because then all of a sudden what you're doing is not only are you putting someone on a pedestal, but you're sharing their insight, you're sharing their knowledge, asking relevant, authentic questions that you, and then of course the listeners and the audience, can benefit from. So as we started to get into this, what we call the Waterfall Method of creating long form content that ultimately drives into shorter form content, we created numerous connections. gained long-term clients, built really great relationships, made people cry, made people laugh, had a lot of fun in the process. There were so many benefits that came out of this method, okay? So, the first idea, as mentioned, was this idea of taking a call and then turning it into a podcast. Dub has a podcast. It's called Connection Loop. And we've done almost, I think, 80 episodes now. And these have been incredibly engaging, riveting, educational conversations that we've had with leaders and people that have failed, people that have succeeded, people that have grown their businesses to making millions and millions of dollars every year. The conversations have been amazing for me personally, and I know that through some feedback, we've received a lot of interested people in that content. So another example of this is demos, right? So if anyone is in a business where they're solving a problem, they have a software, there's a technology, there's some sort of a value proposition, even if it's success oriented, here's a case study, here's some social proof, here's a chart that went from here to here. That type of visual storytelling is some of the most compelling content that you can deliver. The challenge, of course, is that, again, it's hard to get people to meet with you. It's hard to get people to say, yes, you know what? I will give you a 30-minute conversation with me. And what we have done with this is that we have developed the Dub Jam Session series. And the Dub Jam Session series is not about Dub sharing what Dub is. Now, that is a part of it, but that's not what the beginning of the video is. The beginning of those videos are always about listening. It's about listening to the challenges, to the trials, the tribulations, the things that people are going through in their business, and then being able to provide value. So in those jam sessions, the first 5 to 15 minutes is, again, it's listening and then understanding what some of the challenges that people are going through are. For example, we need better leads, or we need to increase our conversion rate, or we need to get more people to engage with our content on LinkedIn or social media. We need to get more email responses. We need to get more calendar bookings. We need to drive more sales. We need to take our video content and have it be actionable. These are some of the various pain points that we've heard people experience. And what we try to do, of course, in a relatively unbiased way is provide the coaching, the consultation, empathy, compassion, tips and tricks, very actionable, tactical information. Now, truth be told, we do have a software platform. Dub is a video communication platform. The problems that we try to solve is that we allow people to use video and to make it actionable, to create funnels, to create opportunities, to drive conversions, and to ultimately grow a business and grow sales. So if there is a relevant opportunity to pitch Dub in this, we will do that, and we will do a screen share. We'll show success stories, how the platform can be used, some of the different methods it could be used for, how some people create 50 to 100 videos a day that effectively replaced email, replaced, text writing. We will share some of those, but what we will also do is share the insight that we have learned on LinkedIn, on video marketing, on social media, on podcast development, on software development, on agile technology development, on being a better listener, being more compassionate, using technology, using gear, whatever it is that we can provide value on, we will try to do that in that 15 to 30 minute session. Now, the beautiful thing about recording this is that now we have an asset. It's a video that we can either reference to other relevant parties that are suffering from a similar pain point, or secondly, we can repurpose into different types of content. We can trim, we can cut into shorter clips. These can fuel our Instagram channel. These can fuel our LinkedIn profiles. These can fuel Twitter, even our YouTube channel. But they can also be evergreen content that people discover on the internet through search engine optimization, right? When someone types in, how does an enterprise sales company scale their sales, they might actually see a conversation that we had that touched upon that exact pain point. where we deliver, again, a 30-minute demonstration on how we feel that problem can be solved. So not only do you get to build a relationship, to have something very similar that you might have had on a private phone conversation or a conference call, you get a public asset that can be discovered, but then you also get to drive original content through, of course, what we call the Waterfall Method, which is taking long form content and then converting it into short form content. So those are a couple of different examples on how we all can just convert the efforts that we're already doing into an original content opportunity. The next piece that I'd love to evangelize is this idea of converting support requests, frequently asked questions, concerns that people might have, chat messages that you might get on your homepage, and convert those into more original content, support videos. So this is just a great example of how we can use a question that someone might have and then actually go produce a video for that. So create a support video on that. Write an article for it. Create a series of animated GIFs so that the next time someone asks that question, we have a go-to article. We can say, hey, check out this blog post that we wrote. Check out this YouTube video that we recorded that addresses this problem. Now, not only can you be more immediate in your delivery of that support asset, but you can also be very concise, and it can be very visual in nature because we went through the effort of producing something. Not to mention, it is just an amazing time saver. When you have original content that you've pre-recorded, you're effectively cloning yourself. And this is a topic that we get into a lot, this idea of cloning ourselves, where instead of having to answer the same thing over and over and over and over again, you record something that you can then reuse. This is a YouTube video, this is a support article, this is an FAQ, this is a blog post, this is a social media post that you did. There's so many different methods, channels, mediums that you can share this content on and effectively scale your operation as a result of this. Because if you find yourself in a situation where you're in a very one-to-one, reactive, very synchronous situation, you're not scaling yourself the way that you could be. And the way, of course, you can is through original content, being a good listener, creating assets that you can share with the people that you're meeting with, but then also the people that come in the future. I think another thing that I love to evangelize is this idea of making your product development part of your marketing, right? So my favorite way to market Dub is to show the way that the technology is evolving. We have a weekly email newsletter. It's a video email newsletter that we actually use Dub to send, and it's a 2 to 3 minute video that we produce that, of course, is driven from a live video where we might announce some new features. And we send that to the entire community of 30, 40,000 people on our email list. And what's really compelling about that is that we're showing that we're listening to the pain points that people are problems, to the feature requests that they have, but we're also iterating our technology, and we're growing, we're evolving as a platform. And I think that people love to see that. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a technology platform to experience that. You can be a company that's growing, that's evolving, that's changing its product line. Every company, whether it's service-based or consulting, or they sell widgets or products or a software platform, all of us are evolving our ultimate product offering. And to share updates with the community about how we're evolving is really exciting for people because it taps into something that we always talk about, which is evangelism, this halo effect that people get from brand. If someone makes a connection to Apple as a company, Apple can start to announce new products. And every time there's a new product, they're going to get interest because they have that halo effect. They have that deep following in the brand. And the same thing can happen for all of us, obviously not at the scale of Apple, but at our own scale, which we can continue to grow with content and with more conversations. So Dub as a platform is evolving. Every single week we announce new features for the most part, and these features are from listening. So this is again another way to show your user base, your larger community, that you're listening and you're iterating your product to ultimately provide value and help them. I think the next thing that I'll kind of wrap up with is this idea of compassion-based marketing. And I think that this is one, it's a little bit of a buzzword right now, this idea of empathy or compassion in our marketing. But I think it's really important that we understand what it means at a very visceral, very deep level. And ultimately, it means relating or addressing the struggles that someone goes through, right? Now, struggle doesn't necessarily have to be something oppressive or something physical. It can be as simple as I'm not making as much money as I want to make, or I'm not saving as much time as I want to save. And I wish I could be more efficient or more optimized. So we as communicators, we as salespeople, we as marketers, we as business developers, we as friends to people, it's critically important that we take a moment to listen to what people are going through and not shove down their throat and in their ears what we believe to be the truth. Rather, to truly take a moment to listen and to try to feel what they're feeling and then ultimately provide value. So it's very easy for someone in sales to just say, I'm going to go through the motions. I'm going to call people. I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to make this a numbers game. And 1 out of every 300 people are going to buy from me. The problem with that model is that you're not scaling yourself. You're not building long-term relationships. You're not getting evangelists. You're not going to drive referrals. Whereas providing empathy, being compassionate, providing content, providing support to people that you then share on all of your social channels, not only are you building your brand up, you're helping people, and you're ultimately going to drive more sales and success for yourself and for your organization, and ultimately for your family. So that is my masterclass on how to scale, how to grow your company with original content, being more empathetic, being a good listener, and being the best that you can, and having fun in the process. So thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ruben. Now we're going to have Darius Santos with the second part, talking about sales.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. All right, so we are ready, guys. I'm going to be talking today about the state of sales in 2020, both pre and post-pandemic. And also, we're referring to the changes that have been taking place really recently in the sales space. Some of what Ruben touched on is the consult-based approach, the empathy-based approach. This is really the direction that sales are going. And it's changed long gone are days of boiler room and things like that. Maybe there's some still industries that are old school that are doing that. But a lot of people are really changing the way that they do business, and it's for the better. It's a customer-based experience now. Consumer experience is really, really important. So what I'm going to be doing first here is actually talking about some problems that are being faced by the industry of sales, and it's inside sales and outside sales. Outside sales has particularly been hit really hard since the pandemic. So we're going to be touching on a little bit of both of those. Since this year, we have had a just massive influx of sales professionals really looking to solve the same problem. It's that same time-old problem of breaking through the noise. We want to make ourselves get noticed. We want to cut through the inbox of the thousands of messages that everyone else is receiving. And maybe we're already approaching a couple different channels like LinkedIn and social and text, because if we're not doing that, that's also something we're going to touch on, is multi-channel approaches. If we're just living on email, it's an archaic method that is still a lot of value, but also it's just one channel, and we need to be producing on all channels. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about. So the first thing is that time-old problem is how do we break through the noise? What can we do today to stand apart from everything else out there? And one we're really lucky here is that there are solutions. There's new technology coming out every day, and it's allowing us to reach more and more people. One thing that we remain consistent here at Dub is the idea of cloning yourself, the ability to put yourself in more places at once through things like video, original content, and things of that nature. It's really one of our firm beliefs. And so a lot of what we practice and preach and teach our clients, and our clients succeed, is that methodology of cloning yourself. So first, I want to go ahead and actually start with a screen example here. And I want you guys to let me know what you think of these two emails. Of these two emails, which one do you think is going to get more clicks? This long piece of text right here. Oops, don't want to zoom in that much. Or this one here, where we have their first name on it. It's their LinkedIn profile. Just when you take a glance at these two messages, this long piece of text here, or a video that has a play button and their name and something of theirs with a nice friendly face on it. I mean, it's an opinion-based thing here, but we have data that shows significantly higher click rates on videos and animated GIFs, just as something as simple as an email. So take what you will, but when we're looking at this versus this, it becomes a pretty clear choice which one is going to draw more clicks and engage. And it's just at the first level here. So when we're talking about this problem of getting noticed, there's a couple of ways this pans out. This is both getting your message itself, like what does your message look like? Does your message look like this? It's just a bunch of text on a page? Or does it look personal? Does it look like it's something of theirs? Does it look attractive? So that's the first aspect of this, is how does your messaging look in today's market? It has to look sharp. It has to look personal. It has to have something in there that's going to separate it from all the sea of nonsense like this. And video is one way to really instantly distinguish yourself from anything out there. So you get your long messages like this, or something a little bit more compelling like this. So that is the first thing, as I mentioned, is what the message actually looks like. Now, what does the message actually say? That's going to be the next more important thing, is what is actually being communicated. And the fact is that people retain information better in video than they do in any other form. So someone might read through this or glance through this, and if they watch the same information in video format, all the studies indicate that people are going to retain that information better. So that first level is what the message looks like. And then the second level of this is what the message actually says. So you can have your copy in there, and then you can have it in a video form. And when someone receives a message, either through their email or their text or their social media, it's going to appear the same way. So it's not going to appear as a jumble of text on the screen or links or anything like that. You're going to have a nice animated preview, as I mentioned with social. So let's take a look at LinkedIn. The same thing. You can have a long message like this, or you can have a nice animated preview with something custom in there. This type of messaging is really what's going to distinguish you from everyone else out there. The sea of noise, the sea of text that's basically no one's reading. So this is what it looks like on that level of what the message looks like. Now, actually, let's talk about the next step and what the message is delivering. So whether you're delivering these through LinkedIn or email or text message, when you click this play button, it's actually going to take you somewhere to where that message is delivered. So instead of just the jumble of text, we can be taken to a video page, much like this one, where we've already done we've already overcome the first obstacle, which is getting them to click, getting them to engage. And the plain text email, it's much harder to do. They have to read the entire thing, understand it, appreciate it, and then show interest and reply to it. Or the video, we just have to pique their interest enough to get them to click, and then we can deliver a whole slew of information, 10 times more information than we could do in a matter of text. They would have to read so much more text to convey the information that we would get in a video. You know, they say a picture says 1,000 words, that whole message, a video says a whole lot more. So here's an example of what it actually looks like when delivering a video message. They open up their email or their LinkedIn or whatever you're directing them to, and when they click that play button, it takes them to a video page like this, where you're going to be able to deliver all of the information you need. So just as an example of how this is set up, you can see that there's this video here where it can be anything we want. In the instance that I showed you, it's a LinkedIn video there. And so the video itself will actually be you on screen, just like this. And I'm going to play a little bit of this video for you so you can see how that works. It has your personality down in the corner there, friendly greeting, why you're reaching out to them. It's something of theirs, and it's going to be much more interesting than, again, this plain body of text. So that is what the message looks like, and also what the message says when we actually get here. We can convey all that information we're looking to say in this long email. We can do it in a much short time. And so we can also see in the email, there's a little timestamp, which is going to be very brief. Here, one second, I'll show you. When we put that message into an email, it has a little timestamp on there. So it'll say 20 seconds. And so if we know it only takes 20 seconds to get that information, that's going to also increase those click rates, because we know it's a little bit of information, it's just 20 seconds of my time versus having to read like a paragraph of information. So that is like the comparison. The next thing here is the way that our playlists work is the idea is once you've got them here on this page, you want to deliver as much information to them as you can, but want that to be easy on yourself. So when it comes to actually creating these messages, what Dub has done differently is we've allowed this process to be just as easy as possible. So you're in your Gmail. Back to those two messages, when we're looking at this long text or this quick video, which of these do you think took longer to produce? This long text message that's typed out and proofread and things like that, or a video like this? Now, if you guess the latter, you'd probably be wrong, because this is what that actually looks like. So we're here in LinkedIn, and if I want to record this video, I can do that with just 1 or 2 clicks. And then now I'm recording my screen with that personality and everything on it. And so I can definitely convey more information quicker and in a much more appreciated way, a way that's going to build trust and understanding faster than plain text will. And the message itself was quicker to create. So this is what it looks like when you're actually creating that message. And everything that I've said is now ready to upload and then be sent through social or text or email, whatever methods you're already using. So this is what we're talking about when we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. All we're trying to do is enhance messaging. So just like the methods that have been used for all these years, slowly we've added to the pile, and video is one more additional tool. And it's a new way of communicating beyond just text message. We all know how powerful video can be when we're communicating synchronously through things like Zoom, or we're watching videos on YouTube. But when videos have that personal touch, and they also have the actionability with them, which I'll touch on in a second, that's really where we're able to combine the efficiency, but also the effectiveness of video. And that's how it's made an improvement on communication, because we're both improving the effectiveness of our messaging as well as the efficiency. And that's really why it's a different method of communication than just traditional text. So again, we're talking about the creation and how easy this is. So I wanted to show you guys, wherever you are, if you're in LinkedIn or your Gmail or your Outlook, or any tool that you're already using, that's the concept, is just being able to leverage that content. Much like what Ruben had discussed, is having some of that existing content, original content, ready to go. It's as easy as inserting the video, just like that. A couple clicks, and you can put these in there. One thing you'll also notice, I have a video in my email signature. So even if I just wanted to send a quick message, I can still leverage the power of video without having to do anything extra. And this video is gonna, again, it's like having whole paragraphs or an ebook of information delivered in a much shorter time. And I didn't have to do anything to incorporate that. So it's just another way to take your messaging to the next level by actually reducing the amount of work you're doing. And that's the core concept behind using video, is increasing the effectiveness of your messaging, but also increasing the efficiency of it. When it comes to things like pre-recorded answers, you're just able to drop those in there. We have things like word templates that you can use, but having a video is, again, going to increase trust and understanding faster than other methods. So we've talked about now the problem faced in business and the sales today is getting our messages responded to, getting our messages engaged with. And we've also talked about one quick way to enhance this messaging by using video. And as Ruben kind of mentioned, we are a platform. This is a technology that we provide, and it is a technology that is really changing the way that our clients are doing business. People are incorporating videos, as Ruben also mentioned, they're replacing their cold calling and their cold emailing strategies entirely with video. Again, because it's ease of use, the efficiency, and the increase in engagement and replies that they're getting. Because when you're actually watching a video, and along with all the features that Dub provides, it's more than just a video itself. Because if you want to send them to YouTube or something like that, where it's full of distractions and advertisements, it's kind of defeating the purpose. But when we're using a product like Dub, you're keeping them in a nice branded portal where it's all of your own stuff. It's your own branding, it's your own logos, it's your own subtitles. And then of course, the way the playlist works, you can put as many videos in there as you need, and you can get the best of both worlds. So we can really create this really quick video of Ruben's LinkedIn here. Hey, Ruben, just wanted to reach out to you and tell you X. And then I can take that 15-second video and then have it play with other videos, much like this one here. The way the playlist works is at the end of that, it segues into the next one. And this is the video that you can have a little bit more production behind. So the bulk of what that business development or sales rep has to say, they can actually include in a much more produced video where they can go into detail about the empathy and how they're addressing the problem that's in the market. And then they can also have the personalization where you're saying, hey, first name, I wanted to reach out to you because I did my homework on you and I know the problem that your company's facing. And here's a little video that my team made addressing the solution to your problem. I know you're going to find some value in it. And that video is 10 seconds. And then you have a secondary video on there maybe it's a little bit longer, and it goes into exactly how your product or solution is going to help them. And then you can even go on further than that and have things like cases or testimonials or social proof and tie all those in together. And now historically, this would have meant hours of production. It would have meant a marketing team. It would have meant using video editing software. And what this platform in particular has done is allowed you guys to take advantage of all this stuff in one central location with just a couple of clicks. So if I want to add additional videos there, it's just as simple as clicking and adding the video. Same thing goes with these call to action buttons, branding, any other elements on this page are really easy to click. And it is an all-in-one solution. So you don't need to have different tools. This one tool provides you the ability to create the videos, host the videos, and then deliver them through your email, text message, LinkedIn, and more. And then of course, we talked about the importance of actually having your message stand out, because that's the problem we're trying to face. We want your message to stand out apart from the competition. We don't want you to have your messages look like this. We want them to look a little bit more attractive, a little bit more personal, and we want them to stand out from the competition. And that's really what we have done as a company. We've listened to our customers and our clients, and we've found out what's helping, and we've come up with some solutions that are really unique to our platform and our users. And it's really allowing them to stay on that cutting edge, because no one else is receiving messages that look like this. And that's one way that we're really solving that problem. So here, let me go ahead and stop my share, come back in here. So I hope you guys have found some value in that video. I know that I've covered a whole lot of stuff in a very brief amount of time, and it's like trying to teach someone how to do sales entirely in a 15-minute window. So I know I've gone a little bit from broad to the narrow, but what we really want to just to quickly sum up what we've done is we've talked about the problem of breaking through the noise and being noticed, standing out. And we've also talked about a really quick and easy solution and a different way of communicating that is addressing that problem and allowing us to stand out from our competition. So thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much, Darius. That was fantastic. And now I'm going to take the mic and start the third segment of the Dub.com Masterclass for today. My masterclass is on visual storytelling and how your business can predict visual storytelling trends and use that for your marketing and your business strategies. Visual storytelling is obviously essential for use in social media, marketing, and videos, but the problem is it's changing so fast. Every day there's a new format, whether it's TikTok, like that's a whole platform, or just a small little trend, like a style. And you have to kind of stay on top of that. And now it's hard to see what's relevant, to see what audiences are engaged with in this current moment. So that's kind of a problem today. And I'm going to show you how to find trends and actually predict trends in the visual storytelling space. And actually, this can have an effect on your marketing, on your branding, and even for a business strategy. Because if you can see content trends that are happening, you can actually parlay that into trends that might be happening for purchasing trends, buying trends. So it can actually affect your business as well. For me, my interest in visual storytelling started when I was very, very young, like 10 or 11 years old. And I was working with iMovie and various things, just recreating advertisements that I saw. I remember there was an Apple ad that had really fast editing. And for me, that Apple ad, I think it was for an iPod Touch, and it changed the game for me. Because before, all the Apple ads I saw were more slower paced, or they were product shots, but this Apple ad was very fast paced, had a punchy song, a really interesting song. And for me, that was a visual storytelling change that made me want to go and buy an iPod Touch. So I actually ended up recreating that ad with iMovie, and it taught me that you can have a new style, and that there's different styles that can actually have an impact on how people perceive the video. Now, as I've grown up, since I was that that age, visual storytelling trends have continued to change, and I would say that it's even accelerated faster and faster, especially from the silent film era. And now it's relevant for businesses, because in the age of social media, you have to be posting content to keep the algorithms happy. constant content 24/7, a new video every day on YouTube, a new photo every day on Instagram. And that's how you stay relevant, in the modern world. I think everyone knows now that's how one of the best ways to get sales is to be active on social media. So now you have to integrate, okay, well, what are you going to post? What are you going to post on social media? So you have to integrate storytelling. And when it's changing so quickly, like I witnessed as I was growing up, it's hard to know what to make. You can be sitting there saying, looking at a blank canvas saying, okay, I know we want to make some kind of piece of content, but what is relevant? And I think that's a big problem for a lot of, especially small businesses where you might not have a huge creative team. For large companies, solution is you just hire a creative team, no problem. You're going to have a large creative team. They're going to come up with really interesting ideas. They're going to track the trends for you. What I really want to focus on today in this masterclass is that actually the power is within you. The power is in the founders, the entrepreneurs, or just even salespeople, or branding and marketing people. The power is within you to actually find these trends. You don't have to hire someone else. You don't have to have a big team. Now, if you have a large team around you, that's great and that's awesome. But the reality is that you can just be someone with access to the internet and be able to find these trends and profit off of them. Because if you can identify trends in visual storytelling, you can get ahead of your competition. And here's how. So if I go online and I see that social video marketing is exploding, which actually it was, that trend, social video marketing, which sounds like social media marketing, but really social video marketing is when you crowdsource content from a large group of people to create a marketing campaign. So you can say, hey, everyone, send in videos, and then you could create a marketing campaign out of that. Side note, dub.com, our company, allows you to easily collect video replies from people, which is a cool feature that we have. And we've seen people use that feature for social video marketing campaigns, which is pretty cool. But for example, that was a trending topic, right? So we actually produced a video already. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see that we've already produced a video on that topic. And it may not be, it may be a few months until that topic continues to grow, but the competition, other competing videos out there, we have an edge on them because if they've seen the trend, it's already over. If you've seen the trend, it's over. So you want to predict the trends. That's the key, predicting the trends. And today I'm actually going to go over, I think, 3 or 4 different, I'll show you exactly where to go. These are real places where you can go to see what trends are going to be happening in the future. And some of them, a lot of people talk about, like Google Trends. Other ones are not as talked about. So you should definitely, stick with me here to hear about, how to predict these trends and essentially use that to fuel your content, which can give you an edge in SEO, and also use that to fuel your business strategy, because you can say, oh, social video marketing is happening, and maybe our competitors don't know that. So now I can use that information to maybe to pivot the product in some way. So obviously there's a lot of things to go into, but I want to focus on how do you predict these trends? How are you, after you finish watching this, how are you going to go and predict trends in visual storytelling and trends in marketing and trends in general? The first place is Twitter. Now, I know you thought I was going to say Google Trends, but that's the easy one. I think the harder one is Twitter, and I'll show you, and here's why. Twitter is extremely powerful for following personalities and individuals. And my strategy for finding trends on Twitter is to follow entrepreneurs or interesting thought leaders, if you could call it that, or people in the space. But specifically, I like to find entrepreneurs that are creating businesses, that are creating things. Anyone who's creating something and putting it out into the world, follow them on Twitter. See what they're talking about. Follow the creators. Follow the people who are, just came out with a new company. And if you see that they're talking about a trend, like, oh, maybe they're talking about a new product that is a great new deodorant product, you're like, okay, they're talking about that deodorant product. Maybe that will be a viral product. And if you see multiple people in the space, there's like, oh wait, 5 different entrepreneurs talked about this. Bam, that's a trend. You can just take that for yourself. So that's one way. Twitter is a great way by following people. The next way is Google Trends. Just go to Google Trends, look it up. That's easy. You could figure that out. My best tip on sites that predict trends is actually one called explodingtopics.com. There's a competitor called glimpse.com, but explodingtopics.com is the free version, is totally free to use. I think they have a pro feature, but they predict trends for you and they show you the data on that. So they'll show you a graph of a certain trend. They'll show you the search ratio over time. So it's similar to Google Trends, but they take in other factors like people talking about it on social media. It's a little bit more fine-grained. So that's a tip for you to use. I also use newsletters to find trends, okay? And not just, of course you could pick any newsletter, but again, I think I use a similar strategy that I use for Twitter. Find people who are making things and creating things and then see what they're talking about. Substack.com is a great resource because there's a lot of creators on Substack.com that a lot of them actually work for publications like TechCrunch. There's a lot of writers from TechCrunch on Substack, but it's their personal newsletter, so they open up a little bit more, and you can track trends a little bit better that way. There's also just interesting people on Substack, but also it's similar to like a Medium, but also I'd say go to mainstream publication. Axios has a great resource. They have great newsletters. Inside.com has great newsletters. Now, if you think, okay, wait, I'm throwing so much information at you, it's okay. You can save this for later, maybe take a few notes. But the point is, the biggest takeaway is you have to find the sources to get the trends. And you have to do the work to find that. It's harder than just going to Google Trends. You have to find what are the specific sources I can go to find these trends. Now, for visual storytelling, like as I said, this is a way to find visual storytelling trends. This is a way to find trends in general. But if you want to find visual storytelling trends, that's where the filtering starts to come in. So start filtering your searches and make it tailored for whatever topic, like social media marketing, video. And there's tools to do that. You can filter on Google Trends and you can filter on explodingtopics.com as well. Follow the newsletters of people in your space that you're trying to predict the trends in that space. So if it's aerospace, find the person who's working at the company building that aerospace technology. So those are a few. Another one, this is my final place to look for trends, is Product Hunt. And Product Hunt is a site where you can upvote and find new products. Entrepreneurs launch their products on producthunt.com. You might have heard of it. Just look at that site every week. You'll see a zeitgeist of what new products are being made. That's actually a way that you can also find the personalities and then follow them on Twitter. And then once you follow them on Twitter, you can see kind of what they're talking about, and that can help you predict it. So all these sources, now you still have to make sense of all this, of course. Now, some of these sites like Google Trends will try to display it, but you still have to make sense of all this, and that does take work. But I feel like if you get into your normal flow, it's kind of like checking the news in the morning. If instead of checking the news, you also go onto your Twitter feed that is specifically for finding trends, you check that, you check your newsletter. Over time, over a few months, I guarantee you will start just naturally sensing trends that are happening because you're constantly checking these sources that you've determined are relevant to your vertical and are also relevant because they're the creators of the products. What's key about this is that some of the trends will not necessarily follow through all the way to the end. So you have to determine that, and you have to determine what is relevant for your business. And that's definitely a process. Now, visual storytelling, once you find a trend, feel free to experiment, make it your own. Visual storytelling is all about creative expression. So I wouldn't get bogged down with, trying to stick to certain trends. I would embrace this new world of constantly changing trends. At the beginning of this masterclass, I said there was a problem. The problem is that constantly the trends are shifting. It's a moving target, so that brands have a hard time making content that's relevant now. They have a hard time making content that's relevant for a larger audience. And if the target's always shifting, there's only one solution, and that's just to constantly change. Keep your ears open. But most importantly, find the right sources that are relevant to your vertical. So visual storytelling is something that's passionate to me. I'm a filmmaker and an editor. I always have been since I was a young age. So this is something that I think will continue to evolve and change. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to evolve. So thank you for being a part of that. If you are someone creating content out there, you're part of that evolution of visual storytelling. So thank you. And I would encourage you to check out dub.com if you're someone who is sending quick videos. This is something that for me, just working at Dub, I've learned a lot about how other people use visual storytelling. And that's why I say check out dub.com, because it will kind of allow you to explore your own style of visual storytelling. It's a Chrome extension that allows you to easily record videos. It's a mobile app that allows you to quickly edit videos in real time. Basically, wherever you are, Dub is there, and then you can send those videos and make them actionable with call to actions. So it basically reduces the friction for business videos, allows you to send videos instead of emails or instead of LinkedIn messages, and it makes it easy to do that. So through that process of making videos, I think you will find your style of visual storytelling. And that's the only way to do it. If you want to find your style, you just have to you have to keep doing that. And the way to get exposure on that is following the trends a little bit and taking note of the current trends and saying, okay, I'm going to follow that trend because I could get some exposure on it. People are searching this, right? So you can infuse your own visual storytelling style with the current trends, and then I think you'll reach success. So, or at least get closer to success, because that's all we can do. So thank you so much for listening to this masterclass. My name is Shannon Leonard. You can follow me on Twitter at Shannon Leonard, or on Instagram, Shannon Leonard, or go to shanleo.com, SHANLEO.com. But most of all, this is all made possible by the awesome people at the whole community. I think it's Hey Summit, dub.com. If I'm missing anyone else, we'll have to edit it in here. There's a whole bunch of people that made this masterclass possible. Ruben Dua, Darius Santos. Thank you, everyone. And I think that's it. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Rock on.
Rock on. See ya. Farewell. Bye-bye.